The Power of Unconditional Positive Regard. Chapter 12. Unconditional positive regard towards other people is a place where we can accept that there is good and bad inside everyone, and don't judge them for that, but work to bring about a positive environment for change, through working to understand their reasons for displaying the parts of them that seem to hurt themselves and others. According to Carl Rogers, unconditional positive regard for another person is a state of acceptance, a way to create an atmosphere of safety and encouragement with non-judgmental listening, coupled with understanding, acceptance, and freedom of expression. That does not mean that we condone the actions or reactions of others. However, it allows us to explore the reasons for them, to see the wild dog that's chasing them. We cannot feel accepted by ourselves or others unless we first accept that there is good and bad inside us too. We are all capable of thinking and saying nasty things about other people and criticizing them in our minds, and while we may not say those things out loud or do anything to harm them, we know that we could and maybe even would if we thought that there would be no repercussions. We cannot feel accepted where we feel judged. We cannot accept others when we judge them too. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses. If we don't recognize the areas within ourselves where we experience a lack of control or frustration, or where we are critical of our thoughts and actions, and work to understand those parts, then we will never accept or understand those parts in others. Do you think you are good all the way through? Do you think you are perfect? Do you ever criticize yourself? Try this little test. Can you look at yourself in a full-length mirror and confidently, truly, say "I love you" and really mean it? Can you look at yourself and accept the parts of you that you don't like? What standards are you using to make that judgment? Have you ever asked yourself why you don't like those parts? Are you judging yourself against the opinions of the world on what is good and beautiful and clever? When you are with others, do you compare yourself to them, their looks or lifestyle, and feel less because of the judgment you make on yourself? What if you are the one that needs love, that needs acceptance? What if you are your own enemy? What if you don't like or accept parts of yourself? What then? Do you think you can accept those parts in others whilst not accepting them in yourself? Unconditional positive regard must start with ourselves before we can understand it for someone else. We need to experience all our emotions: joy, happiness, sadness, anger, pleasure, loss, and pain, and learn to keep our peace through it all. It's called congruence, when our emotions, experiences, and inner peace are in harmony. A. H. Almas says, we can do that when we realize that all the difficult times and problematic situations in our lives are not chance or haphazard, they are specifically ours, designed specifically for us by a part of us that loves us and creates those situations to lead us to ourselves. It is looking for you and will put roadblocks in your way until you find you. Why? Because that is its purpose. Many of us have lived with feelings of, I don't deserve to have anyone care for me, and can't even see any reason why they should. These are the emotions of trauma from our past. Feelings of rejection, of being unacceptable for being ourselves, where we believe we have nothing lovable inside us, where we have relied on our masks to be acceptable to those around us. Resistance to acknowledge those parts of us keeps them alive in us. Being real sometimes means allowing pain or accepting a painful truth, and it connects us with our inner authenticity. We know we have lessons to learn, hidden pieces inside us that we need to recognize and develop in order to have the character to move towards our destiny. Remember, you are a process, a growing and learning organism. You are evolving into the real and wonderful you. There will be challenges, there has to be. It's a journey most of us don't choose to make willingly. We must be nudged, and life circumstances are those nudges. Our graph in Chapter 8 is our visual of that journey. Knowing and keeping in touch with our purpose line allows us to keep our peace. The lines that move above and below that line are the circumstances where we experience the highs and lows of our daily living. There are lessons to learn at every point of that journey. As we understand them in the context of our purpose or destiny, our I and me grow to be congruent, and that inner peace comes alive in us. The real I and our me find a place of understanding in us, and we can view both in relation to our purpose. David G. Myers, professor of psychology, said, "People nurture our growth by being accepting, by offering us what Rogers called unconditional positive regard. This is an attitude of grace, an attitude that values us even knowing our failings. It is a profound relief to drop our pretenses, confess our worst feelings, and discover that we are still accepted. In a good marriage, a close family, or an intimate friendship, we are free to be spontaneous without fearing the loss of others' esteem. We all need a place or a person where we can be ourselves, a safe place where we can express our inner conflicts and bring them into the light so we can grasp an understanding of them in the context of our history. That understanding allows us to reframe them, learn from them, and grow from them. We are not broken. Our journey makes us unique, and because of it, we have insights that are uniquely ours. That is an amazingly powerful position if we can reconcile it with our purpose. Yes, we might have had challenges in our lives, difficult experiences and circumstances, and we might rightly feel hard done by. However, we have lived through them. And now we must take that inbuilt power and insight that they have given us to forge forward and use that power to effect change in our lives and the lives of others. There are many people who could not handle the circumstances and history that you have, but you can and you have done. And if you choose, I believe that it is part of your purpose to do just that. Give yourself permission to acknowledge your feelings, those voices in your head. Accept them for what they have taught you. Embrace the pain that they have brought to you, and now turn that into a power that can move you forward into a place of accepting yourself and accepting the challenges that others also face on their journey. Give permission to other people to experience their own feelings, frustrations, and negative self-talk, and offer them a safe place to express those feelings. We all have a need for love and acceptance, even though we might express that in ways that are not seen as normal. Carl Jung said, "Loneliness does not come from having no people about oneself, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you or holding certain views which others find inadmissible." Robin Williams said, "I used to think that the worst thing in life was to end up alone. It's not. The worst thing in life is to end up with people who make you feel alone." In some ways, the individual feeling of being alone connects us all. However, this can be at odds with our natural need for attachments. We are social creatures and want to be a part of our community or tribe. The challenge is expressing our uniqueness while keeping those connections. We believe that what we see is reality. However, it's our minds that create our world. The thoughts and beliefs that we have create the world that we live in, and at the same time, the world creates our mind. We create a view of the world, of ourselves, and other people that then governs our viewpoint, our judgments, and our feelings. We mistake our view of the world for the world itself, when actually it all goes on in our own mind. We cannot be separated from the matrix of the people and society around us. However, all that surrounds us is in us. Where we put our attention is our world. We often allow other people's "you are" to assimilate into our "I am." Having an unconditional positive regard for others must start with having it for ourselves. That means accepting who we are at this moment in time, the parts of us that we like and the parts of us that we dislike or would like to change. The motivation to change those parts of ourselves will then lead us to live more authentic lives, lives that we build, rather than feeling the need to change because of outside pressures to conform. What does the word worthless feel like to you? Say, "I am worthless," out loud to yourself right now. Can you feel the negative emotion surging through your body? You're feeling that because you are conscious of saying it. Thoughts like you are worthless, ugly, unmotivated, lazy, indifferent, valueless, insignificant, meaningless, unwanted, undesirable, discarded, and useless. run through our subconscious mind continually depending on our experiences growing up. Choose whatever challenging subject you are facing right now. Suspend your normal or habitual way of thinking. Leave what you believe to be obvious to one side. Be prepared to bring your thoughts down what you perceive are cul-de-sacs. There are often gates to be found there, gates that lead your thinking into new pastures, new perspectives. Things don't happen by chance. They are meant to happen, because if they were not meant to happen, they wouldn't happen. Turmoil or feelings of chaos often accompany those new thoughts. Look more for the purpose rather than the reason. That's a transition, and it's okay. Your destiny is shifting you to another path, a new frequency for your benefit. Trust it. How can you know if your choice of solution is correct? What parameters should you work off? Quiet your mind. There is power in non-resistant thought. For example, if someone you don't know phoned you and shouted, "I'm never going to speak with you again," you would laugh because it wouldn't bother you. However, if it was someone you knew and loved, it would upset you. So we must gauge the dynamics of every event emotionally. What we think it means to us is how we allow it to affect us. Let go of the stuff that other people want to pull you into. Don't engage in gossip, telling negative stories, or hearsay about others. Mind your own business. Positive and loving thoughts refresh your mind and bring calm and peace. Give yourself a break. Remind yourself of all that is good and worthy in you. There is a story of a busy dad who was minding his very active young son while trying to get some work done. He gave his son a colorful and complicated picture of a map of the world, cut up into small pieces, and told him that when he had put the picture back together, they would have a time of play. Much to the surprise of the dad, the boy came back with the completed puzzle after only a few minutes. When asked how he managed to complete the jigsaw so fast, the boy said, "There was a picture of a man on the other side of the page, so I simply put the man together and the world fell into place." One of the challenges with unconditional positive regard is that when you open up to another person, a person who does not judge you for what you expose to yourself and them, you can still feel ashamed for doing that. You might even feel that you have given that person a reason to reject you because you have exposed what you perceive as a weakness or ugly part of yourself to them. Sometimes it can even lead to feelings that you want to avoid that person because you are embarrassed that they now know a part of you that you have kept hidden for so long. You still feel the negative effects of those issues inside you, maybe even more than before, because you are now very conscious of them. You must remember that healing is a process. It seldom happens in an instant. It is a journey, and the first steps can feel awkward and uncomfortable. Press on. Your freedom is down the road that you have started to walk. Hold on to that person who understands you and supports you. Sometimes we try to manage that new beginning by making a new mask to deal with that raw exposure of ourselves to ourselves and our efforts to understand the impact that trauma has had on our lives. This is a new coping mechanism, and for the moment, it's okay to do that. We need to take this process step by step. We are changing our view of ourselves, and we must learn to understand our new orientation in the world we live in and our relationship to the people in that world. We are changing our frequency. We are changing our position on our own radar, and we need to locate that new position ourselves. That takes courage and resilience because we can have a feeling of being lost. We feel very vulnerable. We don't know if our new selves will be acceptable to others. For now, we must be concerned only with ourselves. The other people in our environment also need time to readjust their view of us. We have moved our position on their radar too. They need to redefine us and our new position on their map. We may lose some people from our lives because we are no longer who they thought we were or who they want us to be, and that can be painful, but it might be necessary. Be aware that it can be difficult for them too. Our peace and happiness cannot be dependent only on who others think we should be. We are on a mission to find our true place in the world, and that will inevitably bring change. Don't fear that. As you are changing your frequency, new people will appear on your path, and some will fall away. It has to be that way, and it's okay. Be kind to yourself and be encouraged. The more you progress towards your true authentic self, the stronger you will become, and you will feel that inner peace coming alive in you. Forgive yourself for the things you may have said or done that you regret. Challenge your view of the shame and humiliation you have felt in the past and for the past. Ask, what did I learn from those experiences? You add strength to your character, your destiny with every new understanding, and you bring that forward with you. Seek forgiveness from those you may have hurt. Every day is a new opportunity to grow and learn. Use the power of unconditional positive regard to free yourself and others from the chains of your past. Get excited for your future. It starts right now. Quote, "It's surprising how many people go through life without ever recognizing that their feelings toward other people are largely determined by their feelings toward themselves. And if you're not comfortable within yourself, you can't be comfortable with others." Sidney J. Harris.